Hey everybody, welcome to Holding Priority. On this second episode of the Duskmourn set review, we're going to cover all of the commander cards that we found interesting.
There's a lot going on with this set. Arts are just amazing.
Our last episode for the main set was 3 hours and 20 minutes. It's a lot, but there's a lot to cover. Will not be that long this time.
No, we'll keep it cut and dry.
Yeah. A lot of really cool cards. I'm really excited. Not to spoil the previous episode, but there's a CEDH commander in that one that I want to draft up, and there is one in this one I've seen a lot of people talking about.
Let's get into it. Let's see what we got.
First, let's go into the shuffle up. So just reminder every time, this is going to be audio friendly. We will have a YouTube video up. I would say that if I was watching it, I would prefer to see it on YouTube so I could see the cards. We are going to make sure we explain every card. So if you're listening to it in the car, please don't watch a video in the car. If you're listening to us in the car, you should get the full experience. And always, please like, comment, subscribe. I do want to remind everybody that we do have a link tree in the description of every podcast episode and a description of the YouTube video. If you guys want to find ways to support us, to make sure that we keep doing this content, easy way to do that is like, comment, subscribe, rate the podcasts. If you want to go above and beyond, we do have other links. If you see some things in any of the card set reviews and you're like, I want to pre-order that card, please let TCG Player know that we sent you there. We have a link in our link tree. If you copy that link and bookmark it, every time you go to TCG Player will know that we sent you, and we'd really appreciate it. Definitely give us the ability to upgrade the podcast a little bit. And also, if you're just like, I have no interest in buying singles, all I want to do is go to my local store, support my local store. If you want to do that to our local store, we do have a coffee link where the idea of it is if you like our content and you want to buy us a coffee, you can do that. You can send $4 or $5 and just be like, hey, thanks guys for the heads up. I bought, 20, 30 Polywog Prodigies for $3 each. They're $20 now. I want to buy you guys a pack. You can support our local store by just sending us $5 for a pack, $35 for a collector's booster if you want.
Realistically, all of our money goes to Magic.
Yeah.
We don't even eat anymore.
Yeah. Well, we used to eat, but then they started to come out with food tokens. So now I don't need anything that's not Magic related.
I drink island water.
Yep.
We just put the cards in.
If I want to make soup, I put a mountain, and then and I have steamed broccoli with a horse.
It's awesome.
Cool. Well, enough self-promotion. I know it's icky, but we got to do it. So thank you. All right, let's get into the commander cards.
Let's go.
So what we do is we usually show the face commanders and what's the secondary commander. They usually make it pretty clear it's another full art card. This one is Amanatu Veil Piercer. No longer a planeswalker. She is one generic white, blue, black, legendary creature, human wizard. At the beginning of your upkeep, surveil 2. Look at the top 2 cards of your library, then put any number of them into your graveyard, and the rest on top of your library in any order. Each enchantment card in your hand has Miracle. Its Miracle cost is equal to its mana cost, reduced by 4. You may cast a card for its Miracle cost when you draw it if it's the first card you do this turn. Notably, the permission of you may cast a card for its Miracle cost works on your opponent's turns. So let's say I have Rhystic Study. I am in blue. You have Amanatu, you have Rhystic Study out, you have 1 planes open. They don't pay the Rhystic Study. You draw. Oh, it's Smothering Tithe. its miracle cost is 3 and a white, reduced by 4. It's 1 white. You slam a Smothering Tithe down.
So it doesn't have the timing restriction at all during the miracle?
Yep.
That's cool. I
The
like
miracle gives you permission to cast it right then.
it. And it's an old mechanic. I remember whenever they had like the extra turn miracle card is really the only one I can think of it.
Extra turn, there was the Wheel of Fortune miracle card. There was the Miracle Bonfire card that was like a fire thing or something like that. There was the one that put out like angel tokens too. Like there weren't a lot. I think there was 4 or 6 in total, but I mean, giving everything miracle. And then the fact that on your turn you surveil 2 and you can manipulate the top of your deck. Basically, if anything that you want to cast for its miracle cost is in the top 3 cards. So the 2 that you get to look at, you could just send those away if they're not right. And then the third one would be the secret one on top that you would draw. I think she's pretty fun. I definitely know that there's been a couple people that are excited about her. She is a 2/4 for 4. If you put out a Jeweled Lotus, you still have to do
2 more.
Blue black or so she is not something you're going to be slamming down on turn 1, which unfortunately
matters.
The other thing is I saw a pretty successful Esper Stacks commander. I always forget her name, but she's from the D&D set and she cares about like how many dungeons you've done, and she has a combo that just with her in the command zone, she's a piece of the combo. Esper Stacks has been doing really well. A lot of Stacks pieces are enchantments. And then we have gotten a lot more enchantment creatures in this set too.
Yeah.
So flashing out creatures on your opponent's turn is pretty good.
I just as CEDH wise, like I don't see her breaking any tournament by her just a natural ability here.
Yeah, I think that she has potential, but everything is value, and
it's not really a win con in Commander.
Yeah, how does she win? Probably some Brain Freeze combo minus Underworld Breach, or clearly Thassa's, but you don't get... She doesn't help you cast Thassa quicker. Thassa's is a backup.
I mean, the biggest enchantments I can think of at the moment is probably the Smothering
Tide, Surprise Ristic, Surprise Mystic is also pretty good.
Well, Mystic, you wouldn't get the value of the 4 less with the Mystic Remora.
You wouldn't, but Flash Speed Mystic
I guess
can be a thing. I mean, there's a lot of like artifact hate stuff. You can lock the game down pretty well, and then all of your to top black tutors become a lot better because you can Ristic Study to top tutor on your turn and then pass. And even if somebody's like, oh, I'll mess them up, I'll cast a card, not paying the Ristic, you'll go, okay, I won't draw. It's my turn. Pass.
That's funny.
It makes those 2 top tutors a lot better, especially the white enchantment tutors. Pretty good. Like you said, I do agree. I don't think this is going to be shaking up the CEDH meta anytime soon. I think it will be one of those cards that is definitely a fringe commander where someone's just like, I really like running Esper Stacks, and
this does it.
Passion of being able to play what they want, they will do pretty well. But is it something that is going to have like a great conversion rate? I don't think so. So that brings us to our rating. I will say we're clearly rating this just 1 through 5 on Commander, so it's just a 1 through 5 scale. Just to kind of go over our scale. So 1 through 5, only whole numbers. Number 1 is, I just think it's neat. Number 2 is, put it aside for later. It doesn't have use right now. 3 is might see some play. 4 is I know this will see play in certain decks, or when we're talking about a commander, I know this will see certain play, or I know this will see fringe play. 5, this will be a strong add-in. Any color the card can be run in. So,
Or a standalone commander.
or this is a commander that clearly people are definitely going to build and it has potential. I will mark this card. Oh, and then we also have a counter spell. So we have the ability once per review to Force of Will. So we either mark the card as the best in the set, or overturn someone else's rating. So only one person's rating is used in the final calculation. So I could use Force of Will and say, I think Amanadu is the best card in the set. I'm going to use my 1 per review. Or if I'm like, Amanatu's great, it's a 4. And Gaming Ghost is like, it's a 1. I can go, I very much don't agree. Counter your 1. It'll go down in the books as a 4.
If I had to put a thing on it, I'd probably say a 2 is what I see it. Would it see play? I just don't see what deck would really use it right away. And I guess it's just kind of a safe bet to say put it away for later. It's a really pretty card. Amanatu is a strong planeswalker. There's a lot of stuff with her.
Don't see anybody putting this in the 99.
You don't think so?
No. It's a commander that you have to build around. I think it will see some play. I mean, flash speed, one white for Smothering Tithe kind of speaks for itself, I believe. You could also Ristic Study, trigger on the stack, tutor it to top, and then go pop. There are some cool plays. I do not think those plays win the game. I just think they're cool. So I will say it's a 3. I think people that really, really like the idea of Esper stacks will run the deck and not really care if it sees top 16 or top 4. They'll just be happy to play it in a tournament. So I think it'll show up, and there's nothing wrong with somebody just being like, it can compete. I don't think it'll win, but if it does, it'll be the highlight of my year. I did that with Timna Kodama this year, actually in January, and I got to top 4, and I was just like, how did I get top 4 with this deck? Yes. So I think I'll say a 3. I think people will try to hive mind and figure this out. I think it will be run. I just don't think it'll perform highly.
I could run with a 3. I could see it, just because I don't see, it by itself doing something crazy, or in a 99 doing something crazy. I mean,
it has to be the standalone commander, in my opinion.
I could see that. Cool. I'm cool with that. 3 is fine.
All right, let's go on to the next card. I will say I'm not too sure why, but this set is a little weird. Usually 1 through 4 are the 4 face commanders, and then it's either 1 through 4 are the 4 face commanders, and then the other ones are the secondary, or face commander secondary, face commander secondary. This is just random, it seems, but we always review them per the set code. You can see in the bottom left it's DSC, so Duskmourn Commander 0002. So we're going to run with that order. I believe this is the secondary commander of the Simic set. So it is Kiani, Corrupted Memory, 2 colorless, green-blue, legendary creature illusion. As long as Kiani's power is even, you may cast non-creature spells as though they had flash. As long as Kiani's power is odd, you may cast creature spells as though they had flash. Whenever you draw a card, put a 1/1 counter on Kiani.
That's an interesting mechanic, man. Mm-hmm. It's in green blue, so you could see some proliferate. You could see some
instant speed draw to change it up.
Yeah.
I mean, again, Ristic Study, Mystic. Time your stuff right to where you're like, combo piece flash, sorcery speed flash, creature flash. Like,
Yeah. This one is I'm going to take my turn on your turn
yeah,
somehow.
yeah, and it's a creature that gets bigger too.
Yeah.
I could see this in the right hands being a really crazy deck where the person knows how to manipulate the card draw, and they just start flashing stuff out that you're like, I have no idea how you're doing this. Like, did you just Sylvan Tutor at instant speed, Green Sun Zenith at instant speed?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I will say I'm not that person. So my review of this is I can't figure it out. I just look at it and I go, it's not Nadu. So
That's where I was. I was like, there's a lot of really good, either you have your Kennen Simic or your Nadu Simic right now as the meta is. And whereas this is a pretty crazy spell. Like this is a creature, man.
I wish it itself had flash
I
because
could see that.
it's 4 already, and Fled Caller is 3, and Fled Caller is like just it is what it is, you know. It is cool that you can if you are forced to draw a card, that doesn't stop what you can do. So the draw trigger would go on the stack, and you'd be like, cool, draw trigger on the stack. I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm gonna cast
and
something.
then I'll resolve down. When that draw trigger hits, then I'll start doing the other stuff I want to do. I'm sure this unlocks some crazy combos that aren't supposed to be possible. In my opinion, there is a mono blue ley line that just gives everything flash, that if it's in your opening hand, it's free. So I think there's a strong argument against this being in the 99, and I think there is a strong argument that there are much better Simic commanders. While this one looks fun, I'm gonna give it a 2.
That's where I was. I don't forget about this card because it's got something.
Yeah.
Where it goes exactly, I don't know, but I do think that if I get one of these, it's gonna go to the side somewhere, and I'm gonna
like it's no Valley Fled Caller in the 99. It's no Leyline in the 99. And I don't see this being a CDH commander. So to me, it's a 2. A really fun 2. Like, if I was still interested in playing casual, I would love just being like, I'm going to machine gun all of my stuff out. I'm going to have Seedborn Muse to where I get all my mana back on all. I take 4 turns a rotation.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it'd be a lot of fun. Don't know if it'll be a CDH commander. If somebody figures this one out and they find a really good combo, nasty. I just don't see it right now.
Yeah, in the comments, tell us how you're going to break this one.
Yeah. All right. Lord of Pain, the secondary commander, of which we have not seen the other one. So again, not to keep complaining. Weird set number.
Yeah.
Lord of Pain, 3 generic, black red, legendary creature, human assassin. Menace, your opponents can't gain life. When a player casts their first spell each turn, choose another target player. The Lord of Pain deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to the chosen player. So what's interesting is whenever a player, not an opponent, casts their first spell each turn, choose another target player. So it has to be another. So if you're 1v1ing somebody, every time they cast a spell, your own commander hits you in the face.
Oh, that's funny.
That you're not going to in CDH. You're not going to 1v1 somebody in CDH very, very much. Your opponents can't gain life on a 5-cost 5/5 creature with menace. I do think it's cool that everybody kind of has to kind of watch what they're casting. I do think that Lord of Pain is kind of a problem just because you're probably tapping out to play him. So you pay 5, you play him, you pass. Your opponent goes on your end step. I'm going to swords. And you go, okay. Well, you cast the swords. I'm going to do a damage to, oh wait, not you. This innocent bystander over here.
Yeah.
Lord of Pain is dead. Pass. Like, and in red black, you have deflecting SWAT. You have the other uncommon deflecting SWAT that we talked about in the last set review. I know it's 3 hours. It's worth it. I promise. There's a lot of good stuff in that set. I think it's too much investment for what it is. I don't see it at 5 cost going in the 99. I don't see it being a good CEDH commander. As much as I love these punishment effects decks, especially in Rakdos, I unfortunately got to give this one a 1 from a CEDH perspective. Cool. I like it. It's neat. Would never run it.
I'm with the 1. I was going to say a 2 just because of the art and everything. I kind of like how it looks.
Art is cool. Yeah.
But, I mean, playability? I mean, it's a really interesting concept, but how do you make that work without just becoming the bad guy at the table? And then it's hard.
You can't even Teferi's protection out, because then, like, let's say you're running like Mardu, then he's gone, so nobody
Yeah.
like if you end up in a 1v1, you've just screwed yourself. Like he's this is the, I like punishment decks. We've talked about it several times. This is what I've been asking for, but on a 5 cost human assassin, which
strange.
what? And it's a 5/5, like it's meh. It's a 1
A
from a
1,
CDH.
a 1 all the way around, I think.
Yeah, and it always feels weird because like this is a 1. It's like this is a really cool card, but for CDH it's a 1 because it costs 5 and it doesn't win the game.
Yeah.
All right, this is the secondary commander for the Amanatu set. So it's all kind of slowly come together, even though the set numbers are weird. Master of Keys has an X cost, white, blue, black, legendary enchantment creature, horror, flying. When the Master of Keys enters, put X 1/1 counters on it and mill twice X cards. Each enchantment card in your graveyard has escape. The escape cost is equal to the card's mana cost, plus exile 3 other cards from your graveyard. So
kind of like a breach.
Yeah. If you are able to sacrifice this guy, you can cast it, mill, and then with infinite mana, sack mill, sack mill, sack mill, sack mill, sack mill, go through your entire deck, Thassa's Oracle, or until you hit Taint Pact or something like that. My problem is more like what happens when you mill your Thassas. Like there is that flashback black card that if you mill it, you can, I think you like take 2 creatures out of your graveyard and return a creature to the battlefield.
Isn't the reanimates enchantments, or are they?
Animate Dead is an enchantment, yeah. And there's like necromancy and stuff like that.
So you could mill it all out, and since it's an enchantment, bring it back and then have it.
Yeah, because it itself is an enchantment creature, so it can if you kill it, it can recur itself. So trigger on the stack, sack it. It's in the graveyard now. Its trigger activates. Bring it back. Oh wait, no. Each enchantment card in your graveyard. Yeah. What were people talking about?
I don't know.
I saw a lot of people talking about this on Twitter. Maybe they were copying it and sacking the original, and the original was going to the graveyard, and then they were bringing it back. And yeah, I think that was it. So they were making a copy, sacking it. Every time the original came back, state-based actions would see the
2, and then
you would decide to send the original back, and you'd go blah 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 blah. But it's one of those things that people were like, oh man, if you have infinite mana and you can copy this guy, you get to mill your entire graveyard out. And it's like, well, that's correct. But if I have 1 black mana and a demonic consultation in hand, my entire deck is gone. I'm sure there are quite a few combos in this. I don't know them. I don't see them. I will say, if I ever went to a tournament and somebody was like, the Master of Keys is my commander, I would be like, oh no.
Yeah. I think that it's interesting. I think the art on most of all of these cards is crazy. This one looks awesome as well. But meh.
I think, unfortunately, with CEDH, any commander that has 3 colored pips in its cost is automatically going to be 3 at highest. Like, that's unfortunately where we're at. They're hard to get out.
The X in it is kind of awkward as well.
If you have a Jeweled Lotus, you can crack for 3 white. That X paid 2, and then it's a 5/5, and you mill 4. But like, for 5 mana, you have a 5/5, and you're milling 4. Like, bleh.
Yeah.
It's the thing that's going to keep it back is you're not going to get it out till reliably turn 3 or 4, and by that point the game might already be so far gone that doesn't matter. I mean, if it's just a combo piece that sits in your command zone and you never cast it until you're ready to go, I get it. But the argument for, well, if I can make unlimited mana, it's like, oh, if I can make unlimited mana, like the game's over.
Yeah, there's
like,
multiple ways I can win.
It's like I really don't need a commander in the command zone to do that. And it's a little bit easier to argue like, well, in green, I can easily get unlimited creature mana with Food Chain. It's like, oh, this doesn't even run green. Like, I will say, if somebody figured out another one of those, like if I went to a tournament and somebody was like, this is my commander, I would be like, oh, this person is either going to do nothing or they're going to just steamroll us. So let me carefully watch to see where they fall. I am going to rate this a 2. I do see it being an okay 99 card. Where it goes, I don't know.
I was going to say a 1, but I'm not going to argue with you on a 2. I mean, in and of itself, the card is cool looking and it has a lot of stuff that it could do. 2 is fine.
Yeah, I think it could find a home in Atraxa, or I like getting your Food Chain back. Since Atraxa doesn't run Underworld Breach, this gives you Underworld Breach for enchantments, and Atraxa runs quite a bit of them, the most important one being Underworld Breach. I see it being okay in the 99. That's the only reason that I'm like,
Atraxa
might be a 2.
I don't think Atraxa can run Breach, huh?
Yeah, that's the point. So she can't run Breach, so this is a breach for enchantments.
To get certain things. Okay.
To get your Food Chain back, which is the most important card in Atraxa.
Yeah, I'm with you now. I was a little confused.
All right. Next one. Oh, I love this one. Rendmaw, Creaking Nest, the Golgari secondary commander, for which we have not seen the first. I hate the...
Yeah.
I'm going to complain every time. 3 colorless, black, green, legendary artifact creature, Scarecrow. Minutes reach. When Rendmaw, Creaking Nest enters, and whenever you play a card with 2 or more card types, each player creates a tapped 2/2 Blackbird creature token with flying. The tokens are goated for the rest of the game. It's a 5/5. I love this card. That being said, 1 in CEDH.
Well, I mean, so goated is where they can't attack the Renmaw player, right?
Imagine if you gave me a free creature body, what I would do with it in CEDH. Like that's my problem is
I'm with you.
You can't give green free fodder for their sack a creature, tutor to field. That's bad. You can't give black free fodder for tutors. And at that point, like, you can't give Balin tokens. Like, I don't care if that creature has to attack not me the rest of the game. Your commander, which cost 5, gives your opponent's value.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think a one's it's interesting. There's a lot to it. I think that scarecrows in and of themselves are pretty cool.
Yeah, I really, really want to build this as a casual deck. The moment I saw it, I was like, if I was still playing casual at all, really, I would make a Halloween deck. I'd have like pumpkin sleeves, make it real cool, and just have a very like I'd wear like a scarecrow hat, and I'd go to the local store, and I'd be like, I'm gonna crow y'all, and I would just stand there when it's not my turn and just have my arms stretched out and be perfectly still. And be like, not me, not me, not me.
That's awesome.
Love it. Very cool. These decks are tuned for casual play.
Yeah, for sure.
So is this a design knock out of park? Is this a design that knocks it out of the park for Magic? Absolutely. Terrible in CDH. Do not give your opponents
Creatures, yeah.
creature fodder. You know?
Nah.
I will sacrifice them. I will look at your crow and be like, I'm eating good tonight. Put it on a Spitfire, roast it. Like,
It's awesome.
I will desecrate anybody you give me. All right. So one for you.
Yeah, I'm with it. One is where I'd put it too.
Flavor 5.
Yeah. I
CDH
think
1.
the whole presentation of the card is cool. It's just too much mana. The ability is kind of lackluster.
Yeah.
A 1 is where I'd be at with it.
I mean, so anytime I see a green commander that has the word enters on it, I'm like, oh my God, what if food chain? And I'm like, you would just give your opponents 2,000 grows, and then you would just really hope that they couldn't win before combat. Which,
Awesome.
I mean, it would be funny to pass to somebody and then be like, all right, 2,000 crows, where are they going? And they're like, well, clearly I'm going to send 1,000 at this. I'm going to send 1,099 at this one guy, kill him. I'll send 1 at the other guy.
Well, it gives it to each opponent. So every opponent would have 1,000 crows.
Yeah, but goated, they attack each combat if able and attack a player other than you if able.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That if there's 3 people on the table and I pump up everybody with crows and then pass the turn, they attack with 1,000 crows at player 4, and player 4 blocks with 1,000 crows, and they just negate them.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
in reality, it sounds kind of cool.
That's bad. Yeah.
Now maybe if you're using, I don't even know if you could use something that would have all creatures enter tap.
You also get to a point where it's like, okay, so it's just me and you, and I gave you 2,000 crows.
Have fun with that.
Uh-oh. if I they're goated, but if I pass,
I'm dead.
I'm dead, because if able is the key word there. And then also, if I give everybody a whole bunch of crows, oh no, the tokens are goated for the rest of the game. So even if he's gone, they still stay goated. But still, like this deck, even if you food chain it out, you'll get second place, because you'll give somebody a bunch of crows and they'll just go
Swing
bye-bye.
1,000. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, no.
Valganoth, Harrower of Souls. 2 generic black-red legendary creature, Elder Demon. It's the face commander. Flying, ward, pay 2 life. Does not matter. Whenever an opponent loses life for the first turn during each of their turns, put a 1/1 counter on Valganoth, Harrower of Souls, and draw a card. This is just bad Obnixes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even think it would go. I wouldn't even put it in Obnixes. I think it's neat. I think the card looks cool. I'd probably just give it a 1.
I think I could see somebody putting it in as a backup commander. Like if Obnixis is locked out, maybe you're just like, okay, well, I can put Valganoth out. It's not exactly what I wanted to do, but I still get some value. The ward pay 2 life is terrible.
Yeah.
You like, I get that you're like, well, you targeted him, so I get a 1/1 counter and I draw a card, and then he dies, and then I'm sad. But like, yeah, it's eh. I will. I think I have to give it a 1,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Like I do, I could justify too and say like maybe somebody runs this in Obnixis as a backup commander, but if you're running a
Nexus is low.
if you're running a backup commander on Obnixis, you have problems. You
Yeah.
know, like,
Yeah, I know.
yeah, and again, if you're listening to this and you're just like, I saw a combo and it's stupid, and you'll be very sad you don't know it. I love being educated on CDH stuff because I would rather somebody tell me in the comments or somebody tell me on Twitter rather than me going and losing around because I didn't know. So
Yeah.
yeah, please tell me so I do better in my next tournament. You were 1 on that one as well?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Winter Cynical Opportunist. This is the face commander of the Golgari set. 2 generic, black, green, legendary creature, human, warlock. Death Touch. Whenever Winter attacks, mill 3 cards. Delirium. At the beginning of your end step, you may exile any number of cards from your graveyard with 4 or more card types among them. If you do, put a permanent card from among them onto the battlefield with a finality counter on it. So you basically take away your own Delirium. And then you get to put a permanent card from among them on the battlefield with a finality counter. So not just a creature, a permanent. Could be a Guy's Cradle. Could be I guess you could get an Animate Dead and then get another creature back. And then the creature wouldn't have the finality counter. It's almost there. But I give it a 2.
That's where I was. A 2, put it to the side. I mean, it could get there eventually. You know, there may be some card that comes out in the set that makes this kind of broken. It's almost there.
Yeah, so the reason I give it a 2 is, to me this sounds like I have it out on the field. I mill my deck. Everybody wonders what I'm doing. I put it out on the field. Thos is in my graveyard. I win with Thosses on my end step. Like I could see, we're gonna go back to it. Tentacle Sushi, running this.
Yeah, maybe.
I just very scary to mill your entire library and pass. Like the Master might want this. I don't think anybody's running the Master anymore though from the Fallout set. Potential, because I can kind of see it in a couple of Commander Sultai decks. I give it a 2. Don't think that it'll be a Golgari commander by itself.
No, I think it's 99, and there may be some kind of combo that works with it, but I would just have it to the side somewhere.
99 and hyper specific 99.
Yeah.
On top of that, maybe Atraxa too. I don't know. Atraxa kind of just draws everything. Zamone, Mystery Unraveler. 2 generic, green blue. It's the face commander of the Golgari. Legendary creature, human wizard. Landfall. When a land you control enters, manifest dread if it's the first time this ability has resolved this turn. Otherwise, you may turn a permanent you control face up. It's a wizard, so there's a lot of things that make it trigger twice. A lot of those things are in red though. So I don't really see a 4-cost landfall commander being great. If you play 2 lands in a turn, you could Worldly Tutor to top, Hullbreaker Horror, put it face down, flip it face up on the second land.
I don't really see this one moving too much. If I had to give it something, I'd probably say a 1. Because I don't even see in the 99 where this would go, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it was not to be lame, but it's not a naughty card and it's not a Kinning card, so it's a 1.
And not even then, like the the landfall piece to it is lackluster.
Yeah.
So-
You manifest dread, which
Meh.
meh in commander, and then let's say you find a way to just abuse and constantly put lands, you just get to flip one face down card up once. So
Yeah.
meh. It's not good. I like the other one better. So
I agree.
cool art though. All of those little haunted slimy skulls in the mirrors, really cool.
I think she was a planeswalker at some point too, or maybe I'm.
She's from Strixhaven. She
Yeah.
was a big Strixhaven. I think she's like the leader of the Simic school or something.
I can't remember exactly. I know that she's had different printings of her.
Yeah, she was like the fractal illusion teacher or something. I don't personally know why she's the only one from Strixhaven that's continued to follow in the story. If you do know why, let me know. If she was a plain walker and we're just off, let me know. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and that is all of the face and secondary commanders. So we're just gonna go into the new cards in the set. I did trim this one down a little bit. There were quite a few cards that just didn't really do anything. They were like 7 mana, and they weren't clearly weren't going to be something that was interesting in CDH. And I just made the call there where I was like, like we already had a really long set review. Let's do ourselves a favor here. So this one is Redress Fate. 6 generic white. I'll skip ahead. It does have a miracle of 3 generic and a white. Return all artifacts and enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. It's a sorcery. I see Esper could run this. Esper would just mystical tutor pass, and then you could cast it for 3 generic and a white. Why all of your artifacts and enchantments are in your graveyard? Don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't even think Blue Farm would want to return Lion's Eye, Underworld Breach, Rhystic.
it's too specific. I mean, I guess maybe if you didn't have Savine, if Savine's wasn't so efficient, then maybe.
Yeah.
But at the moment, like, this is good, but it's a lot of setup for, something that's more efficient to do.
It's a 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Agreed. It's cool because I mean, a miracle is not something that's.
I mean, I could see it be a 2. Just set it to the side. Whenever I think of 2, I think of something that may have value as well, and I don't think this one's going to be a dollar card somewhere. I think it's going to be.
I give you that. Yeah. I'm cool with the 2. I can see it now.
It's a miracle Savines at the end of the day that you get all the things and you're able to do it. So, I guess.
Was the mono white light pause is the one that I would run.
Mm-hmm.
Get rid of light pause, all of my auras go away. Resummon light pause, miracle on ball back. That's immediately what I saw. So I not that light pause is a CDH deck, but I think set it aside because it will have some value for casual play. I agree with. So I'll give it a 2 too.
Yeah.
All right. The rooms, ugh, nasty. So Secret Arcade, 4 generic and a white, is 1 door. Non-land permanents you control and permanent spells you control are enchantments in addition to their other types. Non-land permanents you control and permanent spells you control are enchantments in addition. Oh, okay. So on the stack. Yeah, okay.
They're enchanted.
Yeah, that threw my mind. And that's one side of the enchantment. The other side is Dusty Parlor. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, put a number of 1/1 counters equal to the spell's mana value on up to 1 target creature. It's cool. Definitely, I see this being a good Tron card for casual, high casual. I know there's a lot of casual decks that want to turn everything into enchantments. The Enchanted Evening card is white blue, so you can only run it in white blue decks. This gives that effect in mono white for CEDH play. Not going to run it.
The rooms, we'd have to see what happens with them personally. I don't think they're going to get very much play just due to the most of them seem to have a really high cost value.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mana up front and then after to do things that aren't super great.
We talked about this on the last review is if I end up mana draining this, I get 8 mana because it counts 5 plus 3, so it's 8 mana. And then same for Ad Nauseam. It hit me for 8.
That's rough.
Yeah, I do not see it played in CDH.
I think it's a 1.
I think it's a 1. But like the last card, I do think you'd put it aside for trades.
I could see it. Yeah.
Does this go in a trade binder? Yes.
There may be a point where the rooms become relevant.
Yeah.
And I guess a 2.
The only reason I say 2 is it gives an effect that was purely a white blue effect, Azorius effect to mono white. So this has never been seen before. So two for that. In the world of CDH though, it's a 1.
Yeah.
Like not to
play it down.
Yeah. Glitch Interpreter. 2 generic, a blue. Creature, human, wizard. When Glitch Interpreter enters, if you control no face down permanents, return Glitch Interpreter to its owner's hand and manifest dread. Whenever one or more colorless creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. I read this card wrong. So I thought that with Alaren, it would get played, return itself, get played, return itself. So you could just flicker it and Earthcraft and get infinite mana. I didn't realize that. I thought it said hand and you may manifest dread, but you don't have an option. So you'll play it, you'll return it to hand, you have to manifest dread, which means one of the 2 cards has to become a 2/2 creature. Unless you have a way to sack that creature, this doesn't flicker. So it's not a combo. It's a combo with Glitch, Alaren, Phyrexian Altar, and Earthcraft. Well, no. So it's a infinite mana with Phyrexian Altar, Alaren, because you would flicker it, manifest dread, sacrifice one of your cards for. So it's not even. It's 50 mana bags. I'm sure there is a place where it's like I flicker this, I get 5 mana from Alaren. I could see it. Like I flicker it, I get 2 blue from Alaren. I don't care after this. Oh yeah, because you can't manifest dread a Thassa and then flip it and then it eats. Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's a 1.
I think it has potential because free Alaren sends back to your hand. You can get a lot of mana and then go through your entire send the half of your graveyard half of your deck that matters into the graveyard. Flip your Laboratory Maniac and then win. I give it a 2. I don't think it'll be a CDH combo, but I mean, giving Simic another way to win, cool.
I'm okay with a 2. I just feel like maybe put it to the side.
Yeah,
we'll work out something later, but as of face value for me right now, I feel like it's a 1.
Yeah, this has been kind of a hard set because these are tuned for casual play.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like them to be useful. All right, next one. Zamone's Hypothesis. 3 generic, blue. You may put a 1/1 counter on a creature. Then choose odd or even. Return each creature with power of the chosen quality to its owner's hand. 0 is even. So for 5, it only returns creatures, and it only returns half the creatures,
Well, maybe half.
and it's instant. It's no Cyclonic Rift.
It's kind of. I get why it's here.
Yeah. 2, I think is fair. Put it aside.
Yeah, put it aside. I would almost push it to a 3, because if you're trying to get into attack, if your commander or whatever the creature is you're trying to hit with is odd, now you can put a 1/1 counter, make it even.
Yeah, and it does, like we're saying with Tron, your Tron creature is always going to be fine.
Yeah.
Are you playing Tron in CDH? Probably not. But
And you could put the 1/1 counter on an opposite creature.
yeah, to make sure that it dies.
Just so it goes. Yeah.
I see it. I wish it was all permanents, but just being creatures, I think kind of, because at that point it's like, well, this is a mono blue card, because if I was wanting to get rid of creatures, I would just wipe the board with
Deluge
white,
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a 2. Just set it aside. Know that it exists, because
Supreme Verdict for 4.
there might be some play with this.
Yeah. I mean, the instant speed makes a difference. Like on your opponent's end step being like, everything goes away. All right, cool. My turn.
Now I'm going to attack some stuff.
Yeah. This one, Ancient Cellar Spawn. 1 generic black enchantment creature horror. Each spell you cast that's a demon, horror, or nightmare costs 1 less to cast. Whenever you cast a spell, if the amount of mana spent to cast it was less than its mana value, target opponent loses life equal to the difference. I really like it. So let's say you have a way to infinitely cast the same demon over and over again. You've killed the table. If you have a way to, if there's a card, if you turn everything into a demon with the new ley line, the blue ley line, and there's a card that costs 1 and now it costs 0, and you have a way to just keep bouncing it back to hand every time it's cast, like the combo that Animar does.
Cloudstone?
Yeah. No, not like Cloudstone, or there's that statue that just keeps coming back over and over, and that's how Animar gets giant. Okay. You would just kill the table right there. Now, Animar doesn't have black. I saw a lot of people say that this is really good with Bolas Citadel, but because it's only target opponent, you're like, okay, cool. I cast for 8 life this giant thing. I deal 8 damage to you. You're just trading life values as you cast with somebody else. Crick, every time you cast each spell you cast spent to cast it. I think the Phyrexian mana, when you pay 2 life, it's less mana. So with Crick, for every black that you pay, you're doing 2 damage to yourself and then 1 damage per 1 to somebody else. I don't think that math adds up with target opponent. I do think it's cool, but I think it's one of those trap cards where everybody's just like, yeah, this is great. And it's like, yeah, if you're not winning the game with that combo though, like if you get Bolas Citadel out and that you don't win with that combo, like no one really in Crick Aetherflux Bolas anymore. I guess you could say that like Sensei's Divining Top, if it's 1 less, that would be a spell that you could kill the table with, but also those are all in Jeskai colors that run that stuff. So does it have potential? Yes. I don't see it going in anything. I see 3. It might see some play.
I'm with that too. I think
Yeah.
3 is about where it would be. I could argue 2 just to put it aside because it's almost, I feel like it's missing a piece somewhere. But could that piece already be made and me just not be thinking about it?
I,
Very true.
I saw people saying that's good in Kalia, but it's like, well, Kalia only runs demons and she puts the demons. So I
Yeah.
don't I if it doesn't go in Crick, where does it go? And I think it's a good value piece in Crick, but Crick is never looking to play value pieces. Crick is looking to have 6 to 8 tutors in the deck, hit them all, hit your combo, cast it out, win
Yeah.
faster than anybody can stop you.
All gas, no brakes, and win.
Yeah, really cool card. Like the art, really cool.
It's probably a 10 on art. I like it.
Yeah.
It's kind of Beetlejuicy looking with like a stick figure guy or a stick branch looking guy.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know what I'm looking at, but I still think it's cool. Deluge of Doom. 2 generic, black, sorcery. All creatures get -X until end of turn, where X is the number of card types among cards in your graveyard. So it's a bad toxic deluge, and it knows it. Basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. In Commander, I really don't care if I spend 4 life on Toxic Deluge. I only start to care if I'm spending 8 life on Toxic Deluge. And I mean, if you're Toxic Deluging with 8 card types in your graveyard, like, there's a problem with that game.
Yeah.
For consistency, having a second Toxic Deluge, even if it's a bad Toxic Deluge, is good. So that's the only. There's no argument that this should replace Toxic Deluge at all, in my opinion. Do you want a second Toxic Deluge is really more the question. I think some decks might say yes. So I will give it a 2. I don't think it hits 3.
I think it hits 3. I think you'll see somebody trying to run it. I think with all of these new cards coming out for, is it Delirium?
Yeah.
You're going to be having a lot of cards in grave that are kind of just sitting and waiting. This value's off of that. Now, if it was an instant, we would be in business. I do think that at sorcery speed, maybe somebody will run it, but I could also go 2. I'd say set it aside and see where we go with it. If you're running Deluge already, you don't have. If you run multiple field wipes, you're probably doing something wrong in CEDH.
That's this is never a question of does it replace Toxic Deluge. You look at this card and go, would I want a second worse Toxic Deluge? And why are you running 2 Toxic Deluges?
Yeah, I'm down with it. I think put it to the side, see where we go.
Yep. Agreed. Into the Pit. 2 generic black enchantment. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast spells from the top of your library by sacrificing a non-land permanent in addition to paying their other costs. Corvold loves this. Like,
I think the mana value for it is fair enough. You may cast spells from the top of your library by sacrificing a non-land permanent. I'm gonna throw it immediately to a 4.
yeah.
So I think that's where we're at with that.
With Corvold, you sacrifice a permanent. Corvold's trigger goes on the stack. You cast that spell. You can look at the spell again. And if you're just like, I don't want to draw that, I want to cast it, you can do the same thing, sacrifice a permanent. Corvold triggers back on the stack. So you basically have the option of 2 cards if you're playing your triggers correctly. 4, no argument there. This is going to go in Corvold.
I wish Corvold was more prominent. It's rare to see it now. Mm-hmm. I think it's a fun commander. It
It's scary. That's why you don't.
It's a scary commander.
I will say that's why I stopped playing it, was because I completely lost the ability to politic.
Yeah, you can't do
The
that.
the moment that I would show that I even had Corvold in the command zone, everybody would just be like, well, yeah, but he's just going to get a giant dragon out. And it's like, it's CDH. No one cares about the size of the dragon. You know, like,
Gonna go off on a 20-second rant real quick. That same mentality is kind of why I'm falling away from Blue Farm at the moment.
yeah.
It's people are getting savvy to the me politicking on, well, if I draw a card, you know, the Sisei is really, Sisei does its own thing. Like,
The amount of times I've had to literally look at people and go, has he ever lost if he gets to untap with a Bloom Tender or a Savala? And they go, I guess you're right. It's like, how do you lose 4 times and not just realize, oh, that card bad? You know, like,
I think that this Into the Pit is okay. I'm not gonna keep entertaining the my secrets on Sisei.
yeah, I don't think this is a correct card just because it's too generic.
No, I wouldn't.
But I think Corvold is gonna look at this and be like, yes, please. Like,
Yeah, I think any enchantment that costs 3, you can look at the top card, cast it by sacrificing. Cast spell. You still have to pay their cost, huh?
yeah.
So,
But it turns your hand into a 8 card maximum.
That's true.
Because that card's never actually in your hand.
Yeah, I'm with that. Like I said, I like it.
Yeah.
I think it's 4.
Metamorphose Fanatic. It's a 4 black, has a miracle of 1 generic black. It's a 4/4 human cleric creature. Lifelink, when Metamorphose Fanatic enters, return up to 1 target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a lifelink counter on it. Force of Will. It's the best card of the set,
Really?
in my opinion. Yeah.
Well, I could have agreed with you, man. We might not even.
Throw yours down. Let's double Force of Will this thing.
Oh,
You wouldn't be countering my Force of Will. You just
I do like this one, and since you Force of Willed me, I don't want to get to the end of this and be like, oh well.
I'm Force of Willing the card. You still get your number.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm just saying it's the best card of the set.
It enters the back. My thing is, oh, man,
It's a 4. I will lead that out with it's a 4. This does not go in Blue Farm.
It's funny because when you turn to this one, you immediately look at me and slap the card down.
It's good. It's really good.
I agree, it's good.
Cannot wait to put this in Crick.
The only issue I see with it is you have to have the 2 mana up. Now with Crick, I get it. You need 1 mana.
How many top tutors are in black though?
That's true.
So and then you don't even know that I put this on top. So let's say
you do, and not with black.
Not with black.
Yeah.
So if it's worldly, yes. But let's say I entomb on my first turn, and then I somehow get a second black. CDH, super easy. Mox Diamond, Lotus Petal, all that stuff. I Imperial Seal. I know I'd have to do that in turn 2. Because I'd have to have, before my land drop, I would have to. Which, I mean, getting 2... Because if you have Mox, so Swamp, Mox Diamond, or Mana Crypt, send Entomb something, Imp Seal this to the top, go to your second turn, untap, draw it, tap 2, Metamorphose Fanatic, you have a 4/4 lifelink, you have a whatever you put entombed lifelink.
Villas or the dragon. What is it? I can't remember that stupid dragon that you saw in half.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh
could see that.
yeah, yeah. I always forget the name of that just because it
Me too.
doesn't stay on the board very long. Yeah.
No, because you take it, and then you saw it in
Saw in
half,
half.
get
Like,
two.
get two. Convoke them, sack them. Like
Yeah. Um, I really feel like this is it too. I'll show you my force and leave it at that. I think we can agree on this one being it.
it also doesn't put a finality counter on it, which a lot of these newer cards are wanting to do that. And the thing that really sells me on it is a 2-cost animate dead that comes with a 4/4 body that is pretty hard to counter since it's a creature instead of an enchantment. It also puts a lifelink counter on whatever you bring back. It also enters.
Yeah.
So World Gorger, Dragon, and this, you get all of your creatures back from the graveyard.
It's silly.
Yeah, like it's
all of them lifelink.
yeah.
Well, no, because if it keeps going,
The last one would
Is
have
lifelink,
lifelink.
yeah.
Yeah, like, and then there's so many cards that if that deal damage that like it's like this card deals damage and then you lifelink like let me see, just going back to this guy. Target opponent loses life. Okay, so that wouldn't lifelink. But there's a lot of cards that are like every time somebody draws a card, this creature deals 1 damage. So it's like every time somebody draws a card, you gain a life and they take damage. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. I think they'll regret printing this. Like I think this is one of those cards where you're like, I'm so sick of seeing this art. I see it in every deck.
I think that it's a 4, and it could be a 5.
Yeah, I mean it's no reanimate, it's no animate dead. So you're looking at it only going in decks that want a third option for reanimating stuff.
Yeah, I could see that.
So really it's a crit card, but it's a great crit card and it could be a great World Gorger combo card. It could be like it could go in Evelyn, it could go in a lot of stuff. Like it's good.
I like it.
So double Force of Will, first ever double Force of Will.
Yeah. And yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it's a 5 per se. I do think it's a 4 for sure.
I would say, not to really get into like the financial section, but if this goes up for pre-sale and it's less than $5,
Pick one.
I would probably pick 4 up, a playset.
Mm-hmm.
And if that happens and the card goes to $10, $15, maybe first off, when you buy them, use our TCG player link. And then if the card goes up and all of a sudden you have $80 worth of cards that you only spent $20 on, buy us a pack.
Should definitely buy us a Gaia's Cradle.
Yeah, buy us. Go to Coffee, get us a little, just 1 card, just a Gaia's Cradle. We'll have shared custody of it. We're not even asking for 2.
I have it on the weekends.
Yeah, not even asking for 2, and just drop it as a little thank you through a Coffee donation.
No, for sure. I think we could call this now. If you can pick it up for less than $5,
yeah,
pick it up now. It'll go up in value. I'm betting it.
I have a tab open on TCG Player where I'm waiting to see what it goes live as.
I mean, we called Prodigy for sure.
Yeah,
and it was. I wish I would have bought some of the extendeds.
So the extended is actually less than the normal one right now. But I personally like the extended and I picked up 4. Like there's I don't think I'm ever going to play a 60 card format. I will say with everything that has been going on lately, Legacy is starting to pique my interest. I do see that there's local support for Legacy too.
Yeah.
So if we ever decided to play Legacy and CEDH, I would never not play CEDH. Mm-hmm. But I am starting to toy around with the idea that maybe it would be fun when there's a dry spell to go to a Legacy tournament. So I am picking up key 4 of when I can, when it's cheap.
Yeah.
Cool. Double Force of Will. Ugh, hate these. Polluted. So this is a room card. Polluted Cistern. Cistern is the left room. 1 generic, a black. Whenever one or more cards are put into your graveyard from your library, each opponent loses 1 life for each card type among those cards. Dim Oblette. It's a 4 generic black. Whenever you unlock this door, mill 3 cards, then return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So again, that costs 5 on an enchantment, and that was a 2-cost miracle creature.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I will say, when I saw this, I was just like, my God, Polluted Cistern is great. You could brain freeze yourself and kill the table. That is not totally true. Whenever 1 or more cards are put into your graveyard from your library, so 1 or more, so you can't mill your entire graveyard and kill everybody. I will say brain freeze still somewhat viable because it's 3 cards at a time, because each copy goes on the stack and you resolve them all different. So you still potentially could kill the table with brain freeze.
I think you could still kill them. I think the storm is different effects for each one, so it's
it's a copy. So it's 3 mill 3. Basically, how it's played out is I'm in mill 18. Technically, that's not right. It's mill 3, mill 3, mill 3 5 times. So you could potentially mill 20 cards or mill 40 cards and then kill the table if each 3 are land, creature, artifact, land, creature, sorcery instant, creature.
For 2.
For 2.
It's not crazy.
And
I think that it's okay.
Yeah. And there are those games where it's like we're all sub 15 life. I'm gonna cast this. I'm gonna cast a mana crypt that I just so happen to draw halfway through the game. I'm gonna lay a Ragavan because again, somehow drew this, halfway through the game. For my 4th spell, I'm going to brain freeze, and I'm just kind of hoping I deal enough to everybody to where I do 10 and everybody else is at 5 and I'm at 15, and maybe I can pick a person off and pass.
Yeah. I think it's a solid it'll probably see some play.
Yeah.
I think a 3.
Yeah. I think it gives Dimir decks the opportunity to run an enchantment brain freeze to where it's not great, where it's like it's definitely not going to be reliable enough to be the win condition my deck is built around, probably, but it has potential, so I'll give it a 3.
I'm with a 3.
Gleeful Arsonist. 2 generic red creature human wizard. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, Gleeful Arsonist deals damage equal to its power to that player, undying. So it is kind of a bad version of the Magebane Lizard. Magebane Lizard is... I have it. Whenever a player casts a non-creature spell, Magebane Lizard deals damage to that player equal to the number of non-creature spells they've cast this turn. Magebane Lizard is a 1 generic and a red. So just to start out this review, there is a better, technically, card. I will say that it doesn't have Undying. This one for Mana More has Undying, so if it gets killed, it comes back as a 2/3. Punishment cards are good. It's not necessarily bad that there's 2 versions of Magebane Lizard out there. I think punishment effects at 2 make a lot of sense. I think at 3, you really have to sell it to me, and just I deal a damage every time somebody casts a non-creature spell to that player is a little bit harder to sell. So I'll give it a 3. I think it will see some play in Obnixis. I think it'll see some play in like those mono red Punisher style decks. I think having the consistency of that effect over and over and over again on all of your creatures justifies the fact that it's a 3. Am I excited about it? as somebody that kind of wants to play that style of deck, no, not really. Like,
Yeah, I'm with a 3 as well.
yeah. These rooms, I don't want to come back to this place. It's so hard to read. So left side is spiked corridor, 3 generic and a red. It's an enchantment room. When you unlock this door, create 3/1/1 red devil creature tokens with, when this creature dies, it deals 1 damage to any target. The other side is torture pit, 3 generic and a red, so same cost. If a source you control would deal non-combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage plus 2 instead. This is a 2 for me. Neither side does what it does at the most efficient than other cards do. Neither side is new. It's not.
I was gonna say a 1, but I could see a 2 maybe using it somewhere or another.
Well, I think those red. Deal more damage effects are always going to be relevant. I agree with the 1. Now that I think about it, because there's so many of those effects out now. Like we even saw one in the other set that was with delirium. It deals double for 3.
Yeah.
So even in its own set, this does not have the best mana efficiency for that effect. So I'm cool with it.
It's a little wonky.
Yeah, I agree with the 1. I think it's interesting. I think it's neat. And I have to remember 1 is not, this is terrible. 1 is, I still think it's neat, but it doesn't go anywhere. And I'm going to throw it in the bulk bin. Yeah. Star Athlete. 1 generic, red. Creature, human warrior, menace. When Star Athlete attacks, choose up to 1 target non-land permanent. Its controller may sacrifice it. If they don't, Star Athlete deals 5 damage to that player. You can also blitz it for 3 generic and a red. It is a 3/2. I do not like giving my opponent a choice. I think that it is interesting. I think it's cool. I do not think that the fact that you have to pay 4 to blitz it, which means it gains haste, and then you sacrifice it at the end of turn, is a cool option. And you draw a card, so it replaces itself, but I just don't. I would just take the 5. Taking the 5 does not, like, let's say best case is you pay 4, you'll deal 8 damage to somebody because you'll pick their heuristic study, and then you draw a card. Not terrible. 4 damage for 8 damage, draw a card on a sorcery would be really good. But the fact that you give them the option, it's for me, that's rough. I do think there are mono red decks that just really want to absorb damage, and 4 costs, probably not going to get countered, deal 8 damage or get rid of heuristic study and still do 3. Pretty good.
Yeah. I think it's all right. I would say put it aside. I'm sure that there's going to be a deck that could utilize this a little better than what I'm thinking at the moment, but
I mean, let's say, and this is far, but Blue Farm, you pay 4, you attack with it. Somebody only has two creatures. On attack trigger, you can sacrifice this creature and have no blockers, or you can take 5 damage, kill him. I still draw a card.
Yeah,
like it's an interesting mechanic. But yeah, I say 2. Put it aside. Probably won't see play in any deck right now, but it's good. Not bad. This is just neat. Formless Genesis, 2 generic green, kindred sorcery, shapeshifter. Changeling, this card is every creature type. Create an XX colorless shapeshifter token with Changeling and Death Touch, where X is the number of land cards in your graveyard. Retrace. You may cast this card from your graveyard by discarding a land card in addition to paying its other cost. So basically, the moment that you cast this and it resolves, it goes to your graveyard. And then every time you draw a land for the rest of the game, you have the option of discarding that card to the graveyard and making a bigger shapeshifter changeling death touch token until somebody counters it. And then when they counter it, then you're just sad. But then you retrace it again. I think it's cool. I think it's sticky. At the end of the day, I'm probably not going to spend the effort to exile this card. I really don't care if you just keep getting a bigger and bigger XX changeling creature token. In CDH, it's a 1. It's
Yeah.
yeah. I could definitely see some casual decks just destroying with this thing where it's just like, I don't know what to do. They just keep getting XX. Like they got 3 last turn, they got a 4 this turn. It's pretty expensive for 3. There is that ooze sorcery that kind of does something that's similar, but you can have as many of those in your deck as you want. So like I see this being a really cool casual deck that will be really janky and it'll be really fun.
I think the art on it looks really good. I feel that the mana cost kind of kills it,
Yeah.
honestly. And then with that, I don't know. It's strange.
CDH play 1, flavor 5.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think it overall looks kind of cool. There's some stuff that might happen with it. I just don't see it being viable in a lot of decks.
Yeah. Cool. Sign Monstrosity. 2 generic green creature bear mutant trample. At the beginning of combat on your turn, mill a card and choose an opponent at random. Sign Monstrosity attacks that player this combat if able until end of turn. Gains indestructible and gets +1 for each card type among cards in your graveyard. It's a 1 for CDH.
Yeah.
Because the fact that you just can't control where it goes, and it's green, like the fact that it has trample and indestructible and it just gets bigger and bigger, that +1 isn't counters. You'll probably max out at, I think it's 5 to 7. So eventually could become a 10/10 trample that just randomly lashes out, which is a really cool flavor win, I think.
Yeah.
Is it a CEDH card? No.
It's I'm not big on green. I like that the type bear mutant. I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
I do think that this is a card that hits the field and then just starts to dwindle people's life.
Yeah. The indestructible and trample, if it was I send it somewhere and I just really hope they can't kill it, like you either start taking care of creatures or you start taking care of players is what I like about it. I will rate it a 2. I think it's, put it aside, I could see something building it and using it. I mean, if you're doing a mono green deck that's all about damage and you kind of want to, at the very least, if you can't win through a one shot, dwindle the table down a little bit. I don't see this thing eating a swords because at no point can I ever look at that and go, that's coming at me for sure.
Yeah, no.
So they moved to combat, and then at the beginning of combat, it's happening. So I have to wait until the attack is there. I'm never going to at the beginning of their turn go, I need to get rid of this. It's, hey guys, at random this thing's gonna lash out. I don't even control it. Let's just let it go to attack step, and then you go to the attack step, and then it's like, oh, okay, I actually was going to use this swords on if it was coming at me, but it's going at my opponent. They can take 9. I'm cool with that. Yeah, like
I think it's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
I'd put it as a 2.
Yeah. Ooh, I think this is the last one. This is, I'm not going to say my favorite of the set because the other one, but I did consider holding my force of will till the end for this one. So Seance Board, 2 cost, artifact, morbid. At the beginning of each end step, if a creature died this turn, put a soul counter on Seance Board. Tap, add X mana of any one color where X is the number of soul counters on Seance Board. Spend this mana only to cast instant, sorcery, demon, or spirit spells. So it is very specific. However, there are a lot of creatures that I'm not really going to say in CDH, but there are a lot of creatures that sacrifice. There's Tinderwall, there's Ranger Captain. So you can control your own creatures and start adding X mana to this thing. And it's an arcane signet. It's not an arcane signet you can use right away. It's a sacrifice Tinderwall, get Seance board, put a counter on it because Tinderwall sacked, and then I can tap it to add a blue, and then I can use that for my counter spells. It is X mana of any one color, so it does, even if you get it up to 5, you can't tap it and add Wooburg. You have to tap it and go, I'll get 5 red. So it does have its limits. This is another one where it's kind of like, well, cricket. This is not bad in crick because most of the things I want to get out are instant sorceries or demons that are big. Phyrexians are really the only thing that I cast that I would not be able to use this on. So I think if you have a deck where you're trying to get out for a combo piece, a big demon or a big spirit, or you're just casting really big instant or sorceries, so like example blue farm, tap it for 5 black, cast Adnaz, pretty good. This is it doesn't really do anything the turn it comes out, really, and on top of it, you have to build it for quite a while, and if you're building this thing over 4 turns and all you get to do is, just cast a free Adnaz, is that great? It is the beginning of each end step, and if a creature died, so not your own, so that would stop people from, you would make the board think twice about, swinging in and blocking or stuff like that.
So my problems with it, well, let's go with my likes. I like that it's kind of sits on the board and becomes this mana kind of passively. The problem I see with it is at the beginning of each end step, if a creature died. So there's so many exile creature, anything that exiles a creature or removes it from, just gets it off. It's not going to touch that.
What does that besides swords, though, that people run?
Path to exile.
Well,
there's
like the 2 swords.
So you have swords,
swords,
path. You also have deadly relic.
That's true.
So the main spells that I can think of that do this, other than field wipes.
That's where I was gonna go when you're done. So yeah.
And even if you did the field wipe, now if it said per creature that died this turn,
yeah,
cool. But it doesn't.
Yeah.
It says if one does.
If a creature, yeah.
So if I field wipe and 5 creatures die, if I were to get 5 mana,
yeah, exactly where I was going.
I'd have been great with it.
Yeah.
But the fact that most of the time you're gonna exile a target creature. I mean, at some point
at 2, I think it has a spot, because even if you know you're going, like, let's say I have Ragavan on the board,
yeah,
and I go, I'm gonna swing it,
yeah, turn it into a mana.
Cool. You block it, Seance board.
Cool.
I was waiting for that treasure to have Swan Song up. Now I still have Swan Song up, and it's a arcane signet that all I can do is cast instant or sorceries. I don't run demons. I don't have spirits. It's purely just instant or sorceries.
Yeah.
Not bad. And
no, I'm all about the mana.
If anybody at any point in their turns has a creature die or anything like that, now it taps for 2. Now it taps for 3. I'm I'm probably going to pretty aggressively swing because I don't care if it dies. I don't care if it gets through. Yeah. I will say the fact that it's limited to X of any one color probably is the biggest thing that stops this. And like you said, you can't field wipe and get 5. It's you field wipe, you pass, you get 1. I think it has a spot. If you would tell me that there was a arcane signet for 2, that all it did is if a creature died the turn it was cast, it would tap and all you could do is spend it on instant or sorcery spells, I'd be pretty sold, because a 2-drop mana rock, a lot of decks really want 2-drop mana rocks.
Yeah.
So having an extra one, pretty good. I don't see this going into literally any deck. I don't even think I would run it in Crypt, because me spending 2 generic where I can't reduce it by life with Crick, I'm going to rate it a 3. I think it has potential. I think we will start seeing it in some decks. I don't know what those decks are, though.
I was with the 3. I was going to say at least a 2. Put it to the side. Somebody will use it. I do think there is... it's got value. It's there.
And I mean, it works with Eldritch Evolution and Neoform and all that stuff. And things that are like as an additional cost, sacrifice a creature. There's a lot of that in CEDH. That being said, if all you can do is have an arcane signet that taps for multiple mana of one color and all you can cast are instant or sorceries, how great is that? A 3 out of 5. That's how great that is.
Yeah, I'm with that. 3 is where I'd put it. It's pretty solid.
Cool. All right. So we're out of here in an hour and 15 minutes. So no 3-hour one on this one.
We took the hour from this one and put it on the previous one.
Yeah. I think there was a lot to talk about in the set, which is weird because usually there's not much for us to talk about in the set itself, because the set is all kind of designed around seemingly standard. And then we get to the commander set and we're like, oh boy, like, is this commander set stacked? I really, if I'm going to be honest, all I'm going to make a point to pick up is I'm going to pick up the one that we both burned our Force of Will on, obviously. And then I might pick up the last one that is just a morbid arcane signet. I might pick up the 1 black horror that deals damage, or everybody loses life if you spend less. That's a might. I probably will just put it into a CDH side deck box and never put it in a deck. But at the end of the day, if I'm being honest, there's only 2 cards I have any interest in the entire commander set. Now, if we're talking about Duskmourn, I'm buying a booster box of Duskmourn because there's so many cards in there that I want, including a new, what I think is a CDH commander. I think you kind of said it, that you see it too.
With the green,
yeah. Not going to spoil it here. It's 3 hours. Please go watch it. You know, not to keep pushing it. Very good episode. It's a 3-hour episode, but if you do it in chunks, you'll kind of see how great this set is. I think we're going to definitely see CDH transformed a little bit in this set. I think standard in general is going to be really fun.
Yeah, I think pre-release is going to be pretty fun.
Oh yeah. Like honestly, whenever the set came out, I reinstalled Arena and updated it, and I was like, I'm ready. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's like I'll just kind of coincides whenever I won't be working anymore. So,
yeah, I'm with you.
And that being said, please use our TCG player link, and also if you want to buy us a pack, Ko-Fi in our link tree,
or the guy's cradle.
Yeah. Or the guy's cradle. I'm gonna not push it as much, but I forgot it in the last episode, so I'm gonna push it again. Please copy our TCG player link and just put it as a bookmark. And every time you look at cards and anytime you purchase cards, you're going to be doing what you normally do, and it'll help us out a ton. It won't cost you anything extra. It'll just let TCG player know that we sent you there. It'll let TCG player know that you listen to our podcast and you'll buy stuff. And when TCG player sees that we're sending a lot of people there, hopefully they'll start giving us stuff to give away. they'll start giving us stuff to promote so that we can do giveaways and stuff like that. I really want to get to that point. At the end of the day, my goal for this podcast is not really to make any money, but just go to free conventions where they put us up in a free hotel and we just get to hang out with you guys for free. That's all I want.
Sustainability mainly. I mean, I love playing games.
Yeah.
Like playing CEDH games with the fans would be stacked. I'd be so happy.
If I could play CEDH for 40 hours a week,
I'd do so.
I would 100%.
I would be a trooper. I could do 60 hours.
Yeah. I mean, even if a convention was like, hey, come to Command Fest, we're not going to pay your ticket here. So I'll have to drive 8 hours, but free hotel, free entry. I'd be like, that is a deal. You got it.
Yes, sir.
Free hotel. Hell yes. Like, but I mean, the best way, if you're like, I want to listen to a podcast. I don't want to give any money. Completely understand. I'm the same way. Bookmark the TCG link, and anytime you look at cards, we'll get credit for you looking at cards. Anytime you buy cards, we'll get extra super credit from TCG Player. And hopefully, eventually, they'll start giving us sleeves to give away, like cards to give away, stuff like that. I really want to start doing giveaways on the channel.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
So yeah, let's please. All right. And I'm not going to talk about that anymore, except for the beginning of every episode forever. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you for listening to us. If you listen to both of the set reviews, you've spent 4.5 hours with us, which is a lot. Thank you.
It is a lot. And if we missed any cards in there that you're like, I can't believe these guys missed this, post it in the comments. We'll shout it out the next video we do.
Moxfield links. I want to see what you're building.
Yes. Show me all of your your CEDH decks in the links.
I don't even care if it's CEDH. If you have a jank casual deck, I want to see it.
With your name and everything else we need to know. So if we're going to a tournament,
Moxfield link, and also where you play your tournaments at mostly, especially if they're in Texas. Thank you very much.
Anyway, thank you guys a lot. We appreciate it.
See ya. Bye.